Hey guys, Kyle Coggins here, bringing you a movie review of Thor Ragnarok. Ragnarok was one of my most anticipated Marvel movies ever when it was announced years ago. Why? Because I know the Ragnarok story, the end of all things for Asgard. But, I mean, to be honest, once the promotional marketing started for Ragnarok, I was getting a little scared, just a little scared. It felt like they were turning the whole serious Armageddon into a big joke, and I didn't really know how I felt about that. I enjoyed Thor 1, and I couldn't stand Thor 2: The Dark World. So the track record I was uneasy about. So I went into Ragnarok with clean expectations, and man, this movie is awesome. The director, Tiki Waititi, I think he did such a fantastic job at making the movie hilarious without taking away from the dark event of which why the movie was happening. The way the movie starts had me a little scared because the humor seemed kind of improv, and but the overall scene was great, and I was just like, oh my dog jumped off. I was like, uh-oh. But after that, wow, this movie just, woo, it just skyrocketed, man. This is by far the funniest movie Marvel has ever made. And that's not a bad thing. I thought it was going to be a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing because it's not cheesy. I felt like all the jokes in Doctor Strange was cheesy to me. And that those cheesy jokes took me out the movie sometimes. Like there was no like pop culture nonsense in this movie, and it's just all the funny stuff was just natural. Like Thor and Hulk are friends with a past, and it's just their conversations. You're like, yeah, why wouldn't they be ragging on each other, saying some of these things? They haven't seen each other since Ultron, and they harp on Ultron. The things with Thor and Loki, I mean, they're brothers. Like, brothers are always ragging on each other no matter what the situation is. And I felt like they did a great job of that. They haven't seen each other since the Dark World when Loki died. Thor hasn't seen him since Loki died in Dark World. They harp on that. They did a great job of bringing in the Avengers, like that, what happened in the story of the Avengers, because Bruce Banner and Loki haven't seen each other from the Avengers. They do some great things with that. Like I just love the relationships in this movie. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie was amazing. Her story arc speared right through what was happening, and she was key to the Hulk and Thor. I thought they did a great job at her story arc, probably more than anybody's story arc. Mostly, and given mostly because we know everybody else. So, but I thought they did a great job of really getting into her, and it didn't derail from what was going on. Kate Blanchett is such an amazing actress, man, and she looks so hot as hella. Like, I never thought of Kate Blanchett as a hot chick, but it just shows you what you can do with some makeup and some outfits and things like that. Like, man, she looked great as hella. She has an interesting story. It's different from the comics. Her role isn't different from the comics, but her as a character is different from the comics. And if you know Hela in the comics, you know that they can't do what the comics does, so they had to do something else. And for those who don't know, in the comics, Hela is actually Loki's daughter. But I think it was good. I thought it was good in a different type of way. Hela, don't get me wrong, Hela's a basic Marvel villain. Let's not get too crazy about her as a Marvel villain. But her role isn't useless. It's not a killer like Malekith in Thor 2 or Whiplash in Iron Man 2. It's not even close to that. But let's not get too ahead. It's not on the same level as Loki and all of anything Loki's been in. But I'd place her somewhere with the Red Skull and Ronan the Accuser. But she's very important to this story though. And well, I'll leave that there. I can't get over how funny this movie is. And the stakes are real. The stakes in this movie are realer than any other Marvel movie before this. And man, shit gets real, man. and the humor doesn't, for me, it doesn't take away from how real things get and continue to get. One thing I was really happy about that Loki's consistent. Like the trailers and everything made it seem like they're gonna give a different spin to Loki, but no, Loki's he's the god of mischief. Like that made me happy. If you saw the end credits to not the last Marvel movie, but the movie before the last Marvel movie, you know that there's a cameo in this movie, and whew, I thought it was great. I thought the cameo was great. I find it more than a cameo to me. I mean, and that scene makes me. I have so many more questions about that character. Like, just in the power level. There's so many more questions about that character that could either be great for the future or cause problems for the future of Marvel. There's a scene in this movie that made me feel. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, let me finish this because people are gonna go crazy. I know my best bud's gonna go crazy over this. There's a scene in this movie that made me feel the same way as when in the movie Logan, when Logan takes that serum in his neck in the forest, and like his eyes rage up, and then he starts sniffing around, and then he starts running through the forest, and you're just like, here comes the Wolverine, man. Like, you've been waiting so long for the Wolverine to come out, and this is that scene, and he just starts beasting it. Also, in Rogue One, when all the smoke clears, and it's just dark, and Vader just lights up that red lightsaber, and just starts going ham. That feeling you had was, this is the Darth Vader that, man, that I've been missing. Like, where has this Darth Vader been? And you got that child moment that this is the Vader I know. I'm not saying that this scene in Thor is as great as those scenes, but it gave me the same feeling that something happens and the music hits and everything just builds to this moment, and I'm just there like, finally, this is the God of Thunder. Like, I haven't seen the God of Thunder, not in the Avengers. You kind of see it in the Avengers, but not in Ultron, not in Thor 1, not in Thor 2. That is the God of Thunder, and that made me really happy. And like I said, it doesn't compare to those moments in those two other films, but I got the same feeling for Thor, and I've always loved Thor as a character. I mean, overall, this movie is fantastic, man. Like, it has the funniest scene ever in a Marvel movie, and when you see it, you'll know because the theater will be crying. Like, I've never seen this. I did not expect something to happen, but this movie is great. It answered my main question of Ragnarok, like, how do you stop Armageddon? And I thought they did a perfect job of handling that question. That I don't know if a lot of people have that question, but I know I had that question, and I thought they handled that question to perfection. Can we take a second really fast before I end this video? 2017 has been a crazy year for comic book movies. Like, I think arguably, and I'll be up to change my mind if somebody could bring up a different year, but 2017 might be the greatest comic book year ever. Like, the movies that came, there has been no bad comic book movies this year. Like, no bad. The scale, like, yeah, you could point to like 2000 and when did Dark Knight come out? 2008. Yeah, Dark Knight may be up here, but the other comic movie may be down here, and the average of that is probably like here. But this year, it's been bam, 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 where the average is all up here. Like, I saw the movie Ragnarok, so I watched it yesterday. And right after the movie, I've never seen a Marvel movie where right after the movie, I want to walk back in. So I kind of walked back into another movie and watched it again. But I'm super hyped right now, so it'll probably change. But as of today, Logan and Ragnarok have cracked my top 10 comic book movies of all time. So we have those two that cracked that top 10 as of today. That obviously that could change. They got to dwindle down a little bit. But you also had Wonder Woman that was amazing. Spider-Man Homecoming was amazing. And Guardians of the Galaxy 2. When you say, and I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Thor Ragnarok is what Guardians of the Galaxy 2 should have been. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 played a little too heavy on the improv, and they let the comedy dictate things where Ragnarok did not do that. They should have took a page out of Ragnarok, but that's here or there. I still think it was a good movie. And if Guardians 2 is the worst comic book movie of the year, that says a lot about your year of comic book movies. And, man, it's a great time to be a nerd. I love being a nerd. But thank you guys for watching, man. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.